with his shipment of kids. There were kids in there that didn't speak English. There were kids that were sick and that were already dying. There were babies that were 6 years old, and I'll never forget them just crying, and everybody was just staring at them.
I was trafficked to people within my schools. I was trafficked in underground tunnels that link under your schools, through your cemeteries, under your amusement parks, through Universal Studios, and into Hollywood elite homes, all over the place.
Katt Williams just shook the whole industry again, and people are not calm about it. He came out backing up what Ally Carter has been saying about her alleged experience tied to Epstein Island, and now it's got everyone looking sideways. The wildest part is the names he hinted at people nobody expected to be anywhere near something like that, which makes it hit even harder.
Talking about the victims that are still going through the right now with other people who are running to cover and deleting their social medias. Pink, Megan Fox, Tyra Banks, Steve Harvey.
Even Denzel Washington's name got dragged into the conversation, and that alone has people stunned. That's how intense this situation feels right now. Ally has been one of the only voices speaking out, but instead of listening, people brushed her off and called her crazy because her claims sounded too disturbing to process. Now she's saying she's got a full hard drive documents, sworn statements, receipts, and she's getting ready to put it all out there soon. For anyone who doesn't know, Ally Carter says she's a survivor from inside the industry, and she's been trying nonstop to call it out. She claims she was taken and kept in underground spaces for years alongside others, describing dark and secretive situations that she says were deeply disturbing. She also says she was restrained and subjected to intense, ritual-like environments connected to powerful groups. She makes it clear this allegedly started when she was under 18, which makes everything even more serious and hard to ignore. Now, when she first started speaking on all this, people had two big questions, and they were not holding back. First, they kept asking, where are the parents in all this, and why would they allow something like this to happen? And second, a lot of people said her claims just sounded way too extreme to believe. The truth is, most people don't even want to consider that something this dark could exist. It's easier to stay comfortable and keep believing that these celebrities they admire are good people, living perfect lives, instead of facing the idea that something deeper could be going on behind the scenes. But according to Ally, that picture is not real at all, and she's been trying for years to get people to pay attention and question what they're seeing. And here's where the story takes an even sharper turn. Ally claims she got pulled into all of this because she is allegedly the secret daughter of Tupac. She says that because of that, certain people didn't want her connected to his legacy, his estate, or his publishing, and that's when everything started spiraling. And once Ally began speaking out about it all, things only got more intense. She says things got so serious that her life was being threatened, and it didn't stop there. Reports claim she was even expected to testify in the Diddy case, but then suddenly she vanished right before her court date, which raised even more questions. After she posted a video saying her life was in danger, it said that federal authorities stepped in and placed her under protection. Now, here's the part that stands out. Ally wasn't even surprised by how officials responded. She believed powerful people had influence, so that reaction didn't shock her at all. What really frustrated her was how regular people kept dismissing her, calling her unstable, when she says she was just trying to expose what she believes are serious, hidden activities happening behind closed doors. And she wasn't selling anything or trying to profit off this. She was posting videos, sharing her story, and explaining what she says she went through over the years. Then she took things even further by filing a sworn statement where she listed names of celebrities she claimed to have seen connected to these situations. Names like Birdman, Diddy, Denzel Washington, Young Jock, Beyonce, and Jay-Z all came up, which made the situation explode even more. In that statement, she described people being set on a table and waiting to be chosen, then returned and picked again, repeating the cycle, which she presented as part of what she says she witnessed. She described being forced into situations with many people, saying different extreme activities were happening in separate areas, each one more disturbing than the next. She claimed people were grouped and moved around, and that she was made to sit and wait to be chosen, comparing it to someone picking a gift off a table, which made her account even more unsettling to hear. Some of the details she hinted at were so intense they weren't fully shared publicly. She encouraged people to look into available records and compare what she said with information that has surfaced in connection to Epstein-related investigations. The argument being made is that if authorities had taken her claims seriously earlier, some of the locations and situations she described might have been uncovered much sooner. While many people were doubting her and even accusing her of making everything up, one person who didn't switch up was Katt Williams. People started connecting what he's said over the years with what Allie has claimed, and to them, it seems like certain patterns line up. Think back to when Katt Williams faced backlash for saying he refused to let the industry pressure him into doing things he wasn't comfortable with, including choices he felt were meant to undermine him. Now, some are pointing at Epstein-related discussions and asking if there's a deeper conversation about how power and control operate behind the scenes. Now, this is where things get even more intense. In the leaked Epstein-related documents people have been discussing, there were claims about conversations with biologist Robert Trivers that raised serious eyebrows. The discussion allegedly touched on ideas about influencing traits in men and women, which instantly had people debating what was really being explored behind the scenes. There were also reports of email exchanges where Epstein asked about topics tied to biology and development, and Trivers responded with theoretical possibilities about influencing traits at a deep level. One message included the line, "By the way, we are now pushing the intervention earlier so you notice your son has trans tendencies, so now you intervene with hormones." I would be frightened to do that, but who knows? And that alone had people reacting strongly and questioning everything. Then people started connecting this back to what Katt Williams once said during a Joe Rogan podcast, where he spoke about strange ceremonies and suggested that powerful figures might follow belief systems most people wouldn't even recognize. To some, these discussions seem to overlap in a way that feels hard to ignore. Katt didn't stop there either. He went even further, claiming that the people who truly run the entertainment world are far more ruthless than the public realizes, and that understanding it came at a serious personal cost for him. And here's the message that keeps coming up: challenge power in that kind of system, and there's a price to pay. That's what Katt Williams has been hinting at, and it lines up with what people are saying happened to both Allie and Katt. Still, they didn't back down, they stood firm on what they said, and now supporters believe pieces of their claims are starting to get more attention. Jay-Z's name also came up in discussions tied to these documents, which only added more fuel to the conversation. There were mentions of him being at high-profile events with controversial figures, including appearances at private, adults-only parties connected to Diddy, and people have been analyzing those moments closely ever since. At the same time, people noticed something else that caught attention online. A clip of Denzel Washington appearing to avoid Jay-Z at a public event started circulating right after these topics resurfaced, and now some are speculating there could be tension there. Others, though, point out that short clips don't always tell the full story, and assumptions can get out of hand fast. There are also claims being shared that Denzel may have distanced himself from certain circles over time and focused more on his personal beliefs, though none of that has been confirmed directly by him. And then another moment stirred things up even more. In a 2024 clip, MIA made claims that Jay-Z and Beyoncé pressured her into uncomfortable situations, including creative and personal decisions she didn't agree with, which sparked even more debate online about influence, control, and what really happens behind closed doors. And now everything is colliding at once, and people are really starting to question what's real and what's been hidden this whole time. The internet is flooded with clips, interviews, and old statements being pulled back up, and folks are connecting dots like never before. Every day, more people are revisiting what was once dismissed and asking why these stories keep resurfacing with similar patterns. At the same time, there's a big split in how people are reacting. Some are fully convinced there's something deeper going on behind the scenes, while others are calling for solid proof and warning against jumping to conclusions without verified evidence. That tension is making this whole situation even louder and harder to ignore. What's undeniable is that conversations about power, influence, and control in the entertainment world are not going away anytime soon. Whether it's testimonies, interviews, or leaked discussions, people are paying closer attention than ever before, and they're demanding more transparency from those at the top. And with Allie saying more information could be released and names continuing to circulate, the pressure is building fast. One thing is clear, this story isn't slowing down, and the spotlight is only getting brighter. And now, people are watching closely for what happens next, because this situation feels like it's reaching a breaking point. With so many claims, names, and past moments being brought back into the spotlight, the pressure is building on all sides, and the public isn't as quick to ignore things anymore. Some are saying this could lead to major revelations if real evidence actually comes out, while others are urging caution, pointing out how fast rumors can spread online without full context. Either way, the attention on the industry right now is intense, and every new detail is being picked apart in real time. What's also interesting is how more individuals are starting to speak up or revisit old interviews, adding their perspectives into the mix. Whether it's subtle hints or direct claims, people are analyzing everything, trying to figure out what lines up and what doesn't. At the center of it all is the bigger question: how much do we really know about what goes on behind closed doors in powerful spaces? That question alone is keeping this entire situation alive and growing. And if more documents, statements, or testimonies actually surface, this could shift from online discussion into something much bigger, and everyone is watching to see how it unfolds. And now the spotlight isn't just on the names being mentioned, it's on the entire system behind them. People are starting to question how these circles operate, who protects who, and how certain stories get buried while others blow up overnight. It's no longer just about individuals, it's about the structure that allows influence to move the way it does. You've also got people digging into past interviews, award show moments, and even old photos, trying to spot connections they might have missed before. Every clip is getting slowed down, every interaction is being reanalyzed, and the internet is turning into one giant investigation board. At the same time, there's growing pressure for actual accountability. People aren't just satisfied with rumors anymore. They want verified facts, official statements, and real transparency from those involved. That demand is getting louder by the day, and it's forcing these conversations into the mainstream. Still, there's a line between speculation and proof, and a lot of people are reminding others not to confuse the two. But even with that warning, the curiosity isn't slowing down at all. One thing is certain, this situation has people paying attention in a way that can't be easily brushed off, and the conversation is only getting bigger from here. And now people are pointing at even more details that keep this conversation going. Some are saying she shared specific descriptions, names, and claimed to have documentation to back it all up, which is why supporters believe she should be taken seriously. She talked about tunnels, people being held in terrible conditions, and being treated like party favors, along with claims of disturbing rituals and control tactics that she says went on for years. She also said she's been dealing with threats ever since she first spoke out, which, to her supporters, explains why she never backed down, but also why things around her have stayed so intense. Others online are adding to the discussion, with one person saying, "I have been asking for years where the foster care children were and who was watching those foster parents, raising even more questions about systems people thought were safe." Now the conversation is bigger than ever, and people want answers. So what do you think about Katt Williams backing Allie Carter and speaking out on these topics? Do you believe her claims, or do you think there's more that still needs to be proven? If you made it this far, make sure to like, subscribe, share, and drop your thoughts in the comments below.